So today we are working on trying to clone one of these Audi steering lock slash, I guess, immobilizer control units. This is for another shop. They brought us just the two control units. This is the donor. This is the original. And we're gonna use the PC with the 400 Pro. We also got the actual unit here, but I want to try it on the PC just cause. So we'll pull up the diagram. There's two different versions you can have, so you have to look and see what specific components you have to match up with yours, which we already did. Ours is this guy, so we will make those wire connections on our unit and then go from there, see if we can read the info and then clone it over to the donor unit. And then just to show you how you pick which one to look up on the Autel for information, this is the chip that you'll look for the number, and in the middle there, under where it says CPU, I think it ends in 59W. So you go here. And here are the options. You have to go into chip programmer, then EEPROM, and then immobilizer. Click that, Audi, and then based off the chip number, which ours was ended in 59W, so it's a 1059W. You pick that. That's where you find your diagram, EEPROM, and schematic. So that's how you pull up the wiring. So we are all connected on the original unit onto our programmer and to the PC. So let's see. So we're on chip, drop down menu, again same path, immobilizer. Audi is our first. Pick the chip, so it was 59W. We're going to read the EEPROM, so you select OK. It brings up, I guess, like a session, but then here on the top, you want to hit read, but let's hit this read ID, just see if we've got a good connection. Okay, so it read that. Now let's read the actual EEPROM. We'll hit read. All right. So we pulled up the info. Since this is the original one from our customer's car, we will save this and then make the same connections on this guy and then move the info over. All right, we are now connected to the donor unit, and we will go ahead and read the same info. Off camera, we ended up reading also the flash info and save that from the original. So let's see if we can get a good read. Again, we'll start over with immobilizer, Audi, pick our chip. Again, it's EEPROM. Okay. Start new, so we'll hit read ID. Okay, so we know we are connected, good. Now we'll read the EEPROM from the donor. Alright, So that was quick, we got that. And we'll save this and then we'll do the flash also. So we saved that. Now we'll go here to the EEPROM, drop down, hit flash, and then read. Actually, we have to hit OK first. So we'll hit yes, it sets it up proper. We'll hit read for the flash. And again, this is the flash from the donor and the EEPROM from the donor. We just want to save and back up in case anything goes wrong, even though we're not going to use it. But we're going to transfer both the EEPROM and flash. On this, it's my first time doing it. Not sure if the flash needs to be moved over, but we're going to do it anyways, especially since the car is not here at our shop. We're trying to cover everything we can. So there's the flash, and if you look at the sidebar, it's way smaller, so there's a ton more info in the flash that's stored in there. So again, we'll save this, and then we'll show you moving the info onto this one. Okay, so EEPROM and flash are backed up from the donor. Since this is the one we're going to use in our customer's car, we want to transfer that info onto here that we saved. So obviously we're still connected here. Let's go ahead into open. Okay, and we'll move the EEPROM first. So there's the original EEPROM, that's one we want to open. Okay, so it opened that. Now, let's see. Let's go ahead and set it up so we can open the correct setup. EEPROM, hit OK. So we're set up there. Okay, so we're set up with the EEPROM correctly. Now we have the option to write. So, and just so we know which one we're dealing with. So if you look at this number, that 4F09, so on and so forth, 52, that is stored right there, 4F09 10852. Above that, I'm not sure what the VIN number is, but if you look at that, I'm going to write the X7D0. So that's our original EEPROM. It's out of our original EEPROM. So we'll write now the donor. Hopefully we're going to write this info. Okay, so that failed, but I think I know what's wrong. So let's start over. I'm still connected to the donor, so let's start over. We'll set this up again without opening nothing. We'll pick our thing, EEPROM, hit OK. Yes, so let's close this one. Okay, so we're set up. Let's go ahead and read the donor just to read it. Actually, let's read ID first. Okay, so we read that. Let's read the EEPROM, or actually, let's try to write from here. Let's see if this will work. No, I don't want to write that. Let's let's try again. like that. There you go. Okay. So it's like you have to open a new session with a read session and leave it open. Then you can open up the file you want to write and then write from there after you've read from the donor. If you remember, we read the ID. That's all we did. Then we went ahead, opened the file, and hit write from there. So that way it worked. So successful. So we know we wrote, or supposedly wrote, the one with the X7D0, which is right there. If we let's close this and let's just move things around, start over. Audi. So remember, we're connected to the donor. Let's hit read. Okay, we got a good read. And we're gonna look for this. This info is from what we just read. So there it is, X7D0. So this one now has the EEPROM info stored in it that we wrote from that guy. We know that 100% because we just now read this and it's the same info as that, so we wrote it successfully. That's the EEPROM. We're gonna go ahead and do the flash, and then that should be all for transferring the data onto the donor. So we opened the flash from the original one. After reading the new EEPROM, and right away we'll try to write. Let's see if that works. Equal to the current chip size. Okay, because it's still under EEPROM. So let's do this. Let's close that out. Let's read flash, or actually not even read it. If we are, so still the same chip, we are on flash now. Let's hit OK to set that up for the correct size. Now let's try to write, but let's open up. Okay. Let's hit write. Always reading and writing flash takes longer because it's a lot more information, so naturally it's going to go a little bit slower, but it looks like it is writing it. I think another thing with this Autel, if that LED is flashing, it's doing its work. Okay, there you go. So flash is written successfully. Again, small little hurdles as we're learning. You have to be in the correct, let's call it setting or setup, because flash is obviously larger, so I had to set up for that. That's why I had to switch over to flash. So just things learning, but that's the procedure. This now is successfully cloned as the same as that. Now we'll put it together and bring it to the shop, and hopefully everything works out. All we know is the correct info is in it now, and that's all we were asked to do for this one. We're just out of curiosity. We don't know exactly what was wrong with this, but it is a shop we work with. So this is their original motor setup from their unit. So we're just gonna test, see if the motor is good or if it's being replaced due to a bad motor or gear or something. So we're just testing to see. Okay, that's one direction. And the other way. So the motor's good, the gear teeth are not messed up. The lock moves forward and back. It's the from the donor unit. Okay. All right. So that travels both directions as well. So I guess we'll be okay using either one. Part of the reason why we were testing was because the donor unit came in with the security screws. Someone attempted to drill them out and broke them in the housing. So we were trying to decide which one to assemble it with, since though this housing's got the broken screws. I think we're gonna go ahead and assemble it with this one. Since we bench tested both, we know this one travels both ways with the lock, and the housing screw holes are fine. So we'll put it together with this unit and then the donor circuit board with the original information cloned. All right, there you go. It's completely assembled. We'll put the housing back on it. And not sure if we'll get a shot of it installed and running when we deliver it. If not, that's it for this one. Hope you got some good information out of it and learned how to do the cloning. All right, we actually came to deliver the unit. Just out of curiosity, we're gonna try to see what it does. It's cold out here, and let's see. One thing I wanted to show you. Let's see the VIN number. That X7D0. If you remember that, that was the digits I wrote down. So that was part of the VIN number. So the VIN numbers are in the in that data of the EEPROM. All right, so this is, it's hard to tell, but there's no column or nothing. Here's the unit we just put together. Key is stuck. I'm gonna plug this in and see what. All right, off camera, I heard this click and I was able to get the key out. The key was stuck. Put the key in, we'll see if we hear the motor. Okay, motor moved. Alright, well, it's cranking and we don't have our scanner with us, but let's take a look at this motor. There we go. So that's for the steering lock. So it's seeing the key in and out. The steering lock is moving. We know the motor was good. The fact that it's cranking and everything tells me immobilizer and everything is good. It was hitting like it wanted to start. This car has been sitting here for months. Probably why it's not starting, but we'll try again. Again, we're on the jump box. So there's that. Key on. There we go. All right, so I'd say we're good with that. We'll get with the customer, let him know he's good to go.